Greetings everyone, welcome to video number 37 in the project management series presented by Process Geekoid. Today's agenda will be going over reviewing the PMBOK process table, as well as the 34th process, which is the plan risk management process. This process occurs at the intersection of the risk knowledge area and the planning process group. As always, please subscribe, like, and comment. So let's move forward. Similar to other knowledge areas, we need to plan for uncertainty, and that is the essence of plan risk management. So, in general, as project managers, we want to minimize threats and maximize on opportunities or positive risks. So keep in mind that negative risks are known as threats and positive risks are opportunities. So we want to minimize those threats and maximize on opportunities to make sure that we achieve a healthy bottom line and positive ROI on the project. So in general, risk management is the essence where we are including processes of conducting risk management planning, identification, analysis, response planning, and controlling risk on a project. Like we just said, we need to increase the likelihood and impact of positive events or risks such as opportunities, and decrease the likelihood and impact of negative risks or threats. So down the road, right now we are planning for risk management. The other pieces in planning include identifying the risks, which we'll talk about next. Then we have perform qualitative risk analysis, perform quantitative risk analysis, plan risk responses, and then after planning is done, then we will go into monitor control process group, and we'll be having control risks in there as well. So that is the whole essence of risk management. Next, we'll be going over the definition of risk and risk attitudes. So project risk is an uncertain event or condition that, if it occurs, has a positive or negative effect on one or more project objectives such as scope, schedule, cost, and quality. So positive risk is an opportunity, a positive impact. Negative effect would be a risk or a threat on the project. So an example of this would be a requirement of an environmental permit to do work is the cause of the risk. The permitting agency may take longer than planned to issue a permit. That is a risk. It is definitely a threat, a negative risk. So this is a known risk. So since it is a known risk, we need to identify it and analyze it and make it possible to plan a response for that risk and put that as part of our contingency reserve and manage it proactively. Anything that we accept as a risk is going to be actively planned for and be part of our cost baseline. So contingency reserves plus all budget estimates for all control accounts in the WBS all are going to be part of the overall budget. So the budget, as we recall from cost planning, consists of the cost baseline plus the management reserves, which is money set aside for unknown risks that cannot be managed proactively. So the cost baseline plus management reserves equals the budget. And note that the cost baseline consists of contingency reserves for known risks and budget set aside for all estimates, all approved budget estimates. Those are part of the cost baseline. Hence, just one more time to reiterate that the budget is equal to the cost baseline plus management reserves. Next, we have risk attitudes. The risk appetite is the actual degree of uncertainty an entity or party or stakeholder is willing to take on in anticipation of a reward. So it's how hungry they are to take in the risk, hence the name risk appetite. Then you have risk tolerance, the degree and amount or volume of risk that an organization or individual will actually withstand. How much that they were willing to take on. So once they're hungry for risk, now it's the amount of how much tolerance that they're able to tolerate. Threshold is the maximum. So once a tolerance has been defined, then it's going to be threshold, how much more further after tolerating the risk can they go before that they will turn down the project. So it refers to the measures along the level of uncertainty or level of impact at which a stakeholder may have a specific interest. Below the risk threshold, the organization or individual will accept the risk. Above the risk threshold, the organization or stakeholder may not tolerate the risk further. So keep this point in mind. Risk is not always bad. There is upside or positive risk, which is an opportunity, and downside or negative risk, which is a threat. The goal is to minimize threats and maximize opportunities. So that is the whole essence of risk management. Next, we'll be going over ITTOs for plan risk management. And for inputs, we have project management plan, project charter, and this is coming from develop project charter process that houses the signed authorization for the project to begin. It also consists of the statement of work, OPAs, EEFs, the business case, most importantly why we're doing the project, and agreements such as letter of intent or preliminary contracts that were signed as part of the project charter. Then you have EEFs, enterprise environmental factors, that consists of regulations, disruptive forces in technology such as Amazon Web Services with cloud computing, and industry standards or anything else that is outside of the project team's control. Then you have OPAs, organizational process assets. This consists of risk categories, common definitions of concepts and terms, risk statement formats, standard templates, roles, responsibilities of business continuity management or risk managers, authority levels of decision making, and lessons learned. So the key takeaways for all plans in project constraints, so plans for scope, schedule, cost, and risks, there are some key takeaways and similarities in the plan. All of these project constraint plans have inputs such as project management plan, project charter, EEFs, and OPAs. Also, all of these have three tools in common: expert judgment, meetings, and analytical techniques, except for scope management, where you cannot analyze the scope, therefore you cannot have analytical techniques as a tool. So next, as part of the OPAs, we also have risk categories, common definitions and concept and terms, risk statement formats. So basically all these are policies and procedures for us to do risk management planning. Next, we'll have tools and techniques. And first, we have analytical techniques used to understand and define the overall risk management context of the project. Then we have expert judgment, such as judgment coming from senior management, such as your sponsor or folks from the C-suite. Then you have project stakeholders. Most important stakeholder are people that are impacted the most and affect the most. And those could be your sponsor or other C-suite executives. Then you have the project managers who have worked on projects in the same area. Then you have subject matter experts or SMEs in business or project area, industry groups and consultants, and professional and technical associations such as PMI. So these are all forms of expert judgment that you can use in planning for risk. Get all the help you can to plan for risk. That's really important. Then you have meetings. We need to have meetings to plan for risk and have ongoing risk assessments, and meetings is pervasive throughout risk planning and controlling risk. Then you have the outputs, and the outputs is going to consist of risk management plan. Keep in mind that risk management plan is going to be housed as part of the project management plan. But more importantly, it consists of the risk management breakdown structure. So the risk breakdown structure, or RBS, is housed in the risk management plan, which is akin or similar to the work breakdown structure in scope. So the RBS, or risk breakdown structure, is shown here, and that risk breakdown structure categorizes risks into logical buckets. So you can see here that we have project risks in the form of business risks, and technical risks, organizational risks, project management risks. So in an IT project, these are the major buckets. So under business risks, we have competitors, suppliers, cash flow risks. So these are all part of business. Then you have technical risks. You could have risk with hardware, software, and integration. Then you have organizational risks such as management, support. Then you have team support and supplier support. Then project management risks can come in the form of planning, meetings, communications, and resources. So those are all examples of categories and risks under the RBS that will be listed in your risk management plan. So the risk management plan is a subsidiary plan of the overarching project management plan. The key benefit of plan risk management is it ensures the degree, type, and visibility of risk management are linked with achieving project success for the organization. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe, like, and comment.